We are doing the Week 4 mega preview and Q&A. I'm the big man on campus, getting you ready for another week in college football. Here with our regular co-host, is becoming a regular thing. It's our boy Donnie Rightside. Rightside, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Just getting that retweet out there. Let's get some people in here. We'll have some fun. It's like almost like Jeff, pull and break up to that couch. You know the place to be on Wednesday night. Sit back, relax. We'll talk a little football, have some fun, right?
Yeah. We're in Week 4 in college football already. Feels like just yesterday.
Damn.
It was Labor Day, and we were talking about the week before. And what was the first game? Florida, Miami. I think
Yes, correct.
It's already middle of September. We're actually in the second half of September already. I saw tonight, Donnie. It's going to be like in the 40s.
Yeah, got the hoodie on, brother. Yes, absolutely, man.
So that's interesting, right? I mean, your first 40-degree night, but Week 3 NFL coming as well. I know we're all excited for that. You and I, Donnie. And it's funny because last Sunday we had our show, and I want to say we hit all of the best bets we gave out were winners. I think the only game that I actually ended up giving out that lost was fucking Miami, the Dolphins, which they're just a gutless bunch of losers. But how's your NFL? You're getting started with your premium plays this week, right?
Yeah, good. No, I'm excited. Actually, it's funny because last week the card, which obviously we did very well on, it was almost like a week too early for that card. I wish that card was this week because it was so clear of what the right plays were. And if you were look, some people were just fading numbers and doing that stuff. But if you honestly looked at those games last week and just said, you know what, this game makes sense, this game makes sense, this game makes sense, we cleaned up, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, last week was a good week. I mean, even and I actually noticed, Donnie, I remember mentioning I like the under in that Packer game.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 25 points in the first quarter, and then it ended up just staying under. It was a wild game. But, yeah, last week was nice. They're always fun. And, before we get into college football and some other topics, Donnie, unders have been hitting like crazy in the NFL. What do you think is the reason for that?
I don't know, but you got to correlate it to injuries. And now you're looking this week because when we look at this week's card, just like, just real quick in the NFL, how many of these games, Jeff, are you just taking a flyer like, I think Daniel Jones will be better than Eli. I think, without Cam Newton, Carolina will be better. I think Mason Rudolph's going to be better than Big Ben. It's crazy stuff. And that's got a lot to do with it, man. Look at the Jets. Look at the Jets-Cleveland game. What a horrific game that was. Did you have any prayer that those Jets were going to move the football after you saw like 2 series?
No.
Not at all.
No. And then when Luke Falk came in, it was just like, now they're definitely not going to move the ball. But, and then down in New Orleans, we don't want to commit to a quarterback. So it might be Taysom Hill. It might be Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm sure Pete Carroll's quaking in his boots. Oh, my God, they went Taysom. We had no idea.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man, get over it.
Yeah. But either way, thanks for joining us here on a Wednesday. Always a very well-recepted video. We don't get a ton of people live. We always kind of grab, good group of people, but it's a lot of people that watch the show after the fact that maybe aren't around or still at work or whatever. So if you're watching now, you're watching later, thank you for checking out the show. We'll get to as many games as we can. Donnie, college football for you, what's that going to look like this year? Are you what have you been?
I've usually waited till this is usually the week I get underway in college football, but I'm still looking at the card and I need to see like full time back in conference because you take a look and you see what's out here and it's like, all right, Central Michigan, Miami, like Virginia, Old Dominion. It's a choppy waters this year. And I'm just not that impressed with what's going on yet.
Yeah. You still have games where, Virginia is playing out of conference still. And you still have those, there's Western Carolinas popping up in certain games and stuff like that. But it is a better card for sure. This week, and we'll get to some of those games. Do me a favor, if you're out there watching the show, do me a favor and retweet it on Twitter. Anyone that does that will get a special prize. You retweet it, you get a special prize. A couple of people have done that. So thanks for all of you for retweeting. A couple of shout-outs, Donnie. Let's do shout-outs. We always do those.
Mm-hmm.
We do it once. We don't shout out you out for the whole show, and
But we will if you make a dumb comment, so you get a shout out.
Correct. Or if you donate to the channel. If you make a donation to me, you get a shout out also. because I'm not really a tout. I take donations.
By the way, Jeff, all the times that we've done shows together on YouTube, on other networks and stuff, there's been a lot of tips going through, and I don't ever remember cashing in on any of these tips yet. So,
yeah, that's a good point. If you want to donate to the channel, just hit the little $sign underneath the show. They will go directly to me, unlike on SBR where we would get tips.
We always used to appreciate it too, but at the end of the day, it was just like, do we ever see those? It's been a couple of years we haven't seen them yet. So somebody down there was relaxing with it.
That made IFBC better, and that's how we got free lunch there and stuff like that. But yeah, shout out to SBR. We'll be doing the Sunday show as always. 12 o'clock Eastern on Sunday, breaking down week 3 in the NFL. You don't want to miss that. Always a well-receptive video. All right, Donnie, let's get into some of these games here. Yeah. Let's do some shout-outs. Who do we have here? Sharagan Amaterasu. Great name. Sharagan, where are you from? That's a great name. D from Detroit. I'm guessing D is from Detroit. Good stuff. Jansen made a nice comment, I believe, on Twitter. Very nice. Thank you. The UTEP football news, Donnie's in here. How about that? I'm not sure how much news in UTEP there is, but hey, thanks for watching. Chef Pat Canuck. We have a chef in here. Very good. Caleb Tubbs. What's happening? Shannon S. Dexter Rojas. Sandy Bailey. How you doing? Simon. Kyle Johnson. Sounds like a Cash Money artist. Who sounds like Cash Money artist? D from Detroit or what? Naeem, what's happening? Dexter Ross is saying Notre Dame plus 14.5.
It's funny. I just looked at that game and I was just like saying, you know what? That's going to be the game of the week. Going to be real exciting. And then I saw the line on that. I'm like, Jesus Christmas.
Yeah, it's one of those situations again, like Clemson, Texas A&M, where you have that backdoor possibility. It's like, why is that line so high? But either way, we'll get into that in just a second. Donnie, I heard down in Georgia at Sanford Stadium, they're going to have 100,000 people inside the stadium and 100 people outside of the stadium, according to the athletic department.
So 100,000 in the stadium and 100 people outside the stadium.
100,000.
No way. It ain't going to happen.
I guess this is, from what I understand, that's the best atmosphere in college football, from what I've heard.
Really?
I've never been. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard Athens is the best. So, I mean, it's a big stadium. I'd have to figure the whole state of Georgia is there. You got the Notre Dame fans. That's a huge group. So it's a big game. It's a big-time game. Probably the biggest game of the season so far. I won $1,000 last week off your Army Michigan pick.
Nice.
Wow. How about that, Donnie?
Side and total, Jeff.
Well, good. Make sure you send me my cut, cuz.
There's the $sign down
This ain't a fucking charity here. I think UGA wins, but Notre Dame covers. Well, that's what happened in the Clemson Texas A&M game. So that's interesting. The Sports Keg is in here, Donnie. How about that?
There you go.
Sports Keg, who is him and I have had a maligned relationship, but not any of me being maligned. But Sports Keg, I have to admit though, and I want to say this out loud, and I mean this. I give them a lot of respect for being able to sit on a stream for 9 hours or whatever they're doing. I have to say I love sports and I have too much ADD to ever do that. I also will admit that guy, the Sports Keg, I actually find him pretty funny, to be honest. He's kind of like Vitalis, Donnie. You know Vitalis?
Yes. Yeah.
I hated Vitalis at the beginning.
You clashed.
Then I met him. Then I met him and I'm like, dude, this guy's just funny. Like the shit he says is just funny. And I watched one of their shows one time. And look, I'll admit there are people on that show I don't particularly enjoy. But the host of the show, the Keg, he seems like a nice guy. We clashed initially. We had our beefs, whatever. But he is a funny character, I will say. I like his shtick for sure. So thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Is it better than the Big House? Listen, I've just heard it's the best atmosphere in college football.
First of all, the Big House is the worst college football atmosphere. Yeah. That's a known fact. That there's 100,000 people in there, and people will tell you it reminds them of a library.
All right, a couple more comments here. Too bad Army played the Roadrunners last week. Settle down, best gambler. We know. You know everything about college football. He meant the week before. Relax. Big man, any more pics of that dime piece? Kidding. Just sub to your channel. Settle down, Sterling Ross.
Is that the guy that was saying stuff before? Is that who we were talking about? Is this completely
No,
off the wall
he
now?
was actually on Gabe's stream yesterday. And when you go on Gabe's show, there's like a picture of you.
Yes.
And in one of my pictures, my ex-girlfriend's in the picture. And I guess Sterling found her to be attractive. So
you're not even your current girlfriend.
No, my current girlfriend's actually hotter than her.
Oh, she must like that picture then. You're going to
Donnie's met my current girlfriend. He can attest. She's pretty attractive.
Wait, let's talk about this though. So does she know that like your promo, your press pic has her picture? The other girl's picture?
I don't use this picture anymore. I don't know where they found that picture. They must have just found it somewhere, but no, that's a different girl actually. So I don't know where they found that picture. But no, don't tell her either, Donnie. If you see her ever again.
That's a good icebreaker, yeah.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. Hey.
Oh, hey, watch. By the way, I never watched, like my wife would say, I never watched Big Man. He was really good. You didn't really look like you do now, though, in that picture.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Who wins the Big Ten? It's a good question. This week, you're going to find out a lot about the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State looks really good, man. Really good.
By the way, Jeff, real quick, we're talking about Ohio State. Did you see the tweet I added you at with Urban Meyer on Colin Cowherd show? Did you watch the clip?
I did, and I want to comment on that. I don't understand what he said wrong in that.
No, you were thinking of because when you just liked it, usually you would comment back with like, what a shithead.
Well, I kind of meant to ask you about it.
Yes, because Colin Cowherd is asking questions of Urban Meyer, like, boy, like Joe Burrow, did you know him? So Urban Meyer's like, well, this and that and this and that. So then Colin Cowherd's next comment was, well, how did he get out of Ohio? And he's like, well, actually, he played for me for 3 years. Like Cowherd had no idea Joe Burrow. Yes, you were looking at it from because I like to pick on Urban Meyer, but I was actually picking on Cowherd.
Yeah, I thought you were kind of like
no. He said yes, no, it was Cowherd. Like somebody didn't tip him off. Like he was like, boy, how did you let Joe Burrow go? And he's like, no, actually, he played for me. I was like, oh my God, Cowherd.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Like I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe he's. Now I understand. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear he doesn't do any research. He's also like that guy that like there's a guy on national radio now that tells you he got a number in a game.
Oh, yeah.
And, listen, if you're going to put out sports betting content, I got in a fight on YouTube with a guy that was doing this a couple weeks ago. He's putting game picks out, Donnie, and it's a sports betting channel. But he doesn't have the lines available.
Look, I advise you take Ohio State this week. Like, what's the line? I don't even know.
I don't even know. State. Whatever. You're a sports betting channel. You can get lines anywhere, up to the minute, Donnie.
Yeah.
We know how lines work.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's get into some games here. Too many cappers in this business. Saturated the OGs. Yeah, Donnie, someone asked me that the other night on Periscope. Who are the original handicappers on Twitter? Someone asked me that.
Yeah.
And I came up with a list, and you've been around pretty long. I know that.
I've been on Twitter since 2010, but my official account is 2013. But we've been way back on this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not trying to beat my own drum here, but I've been on Twitter since the beginning. Okay. I remember Capper's Finest and, Golden One and fucking, Scott Weaver and all those. I've been around those guys, and those were the original. Tweety Dimes is an original. How long has he been on Twitter?
They was Capper's Finest. I actually won the Capper's Finest Fantasy Football League. It was a couple $1,000, and they actually paid me.
That's surprising.
Well, I mean, we put in like $500 or $100 a head. I better, but I actually got paid on. Who did? By the way, I don't like. It's just funny you brought that up. Like, who was behind the Capper's Finest account? Who was that guy?
The Golden One was the guy they created.
No, but who was the guy? Who was like the owner, or quote unquote owner?
Golden One.
Who is that guy? I don't even like. Is he around still? Like, what does he do?
It's interesting. I had him on a show like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and he was like this cat that lived out in like Arizona, and he like knew all these like famous people and shit, and like
there was like 5 or 6 cappers on Capper's Finest. Yes,
it's funny. Yeah. I actually remember I won him. He challenged me one time. He didn't like me. He challenged me to a contest where I think the contest was like bowl games. We had to pick like the most bowl games.
Yeah,
this was like 2014 probably.
Yeah.
And I beat him, and his prize was I'd give him $1,000. The prize that I wanted from him was he had to buy me 3 pair of Jordans, whatever Jordans I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually still have them to this day, the Jordans he bought me. But yeah, it was him, Cover Nugs,
Yes.
Tweety.
Yep, I remember that name.
Mamba Brinks, who's still around.
Okay.
He's an original guy.
I remember those names.
And fucking Big Nick.
That's it. Yeah.
Big Nick Show.
Is that guy still around?
Who?
Big Nick Show?
Yeah. He's always on the internet telling us how he knows all the celebrities and stuff.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a good guy, though.
Is he a local guy? Is he from
He's from Philly. Yeah.
Oh,
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He actually does know a lot of football players, but yeah, he's a good guy. Cover Nugs, I don't know whatever happened to him.
Is he still around?
I would think
like
he is.
Because like you used to see like even if you didn't follow him, you would see like the tweets in the capper community, so to speak, still come across your timeline. But I haven't seen him in a few years now.
Diner Mafia was around.
Yes. Do you still talk to him? Is he around on Twitter? I don't see him either on Twitter.
I used to talk to him every month or so, but now I haven't talked to him in a good 6-8 months probably.
Yeah.
But guys disappeared too. They just just go away. But all right, let's get into some games. Donnie, tomorrow, Houston heading on the road to take on Tulane. This is an interesting line. Tulane, a 5-point favorite here. This one went up from 3.5 to 5. Interesting. Obviously, Tulane, we haven't heard much about them. What are they up to? Justin McMillan's still the quarterback. They're still running kind of the same offense, but they're a little bit more dynamic. McMillan's had a good season, actually. And look, you look at their opponents. Beat up FIU, beat up Missouri State, lost to Auburn, which is expected. Auburn's Auburn. And McMillan was not good in that game. But, Donnie, I mean, comparing Auburn to Houston or anyone else isn't really fair. You also look at Derek King. He's not fared well so far this year. I will point out he's played Washington State and Oklahoma, and those teams are really good. But this is a defense that struggles usually. Houston, King, completion percentage of 54.5%, not good. When you start to delve into this game a little bit more, you start to worry about Houston on the road here. A good defensive line. Tulane's always very solid. A lot of time in possession. But I have a hard time laying 5 points this game. This seems like a close game, Donnie, on a Thursday night. I feel like Houston and Tulane are kind of on similar levels.
It's interesting. Look, I remember there wasn't too far ago last year, Jeff, where I bet Tulane at Tulsa, and all I got from you the whole game is, why did you bet this shit football team? They actually end up winning and covering that game. But you're right. Now, here's the question I have for you. You played last week. You're not expected. You're not really getting up for Auburn. You're excited to play Auburn. You play an SEC football team. How about the wear and tear of going up against an SEC football team and how it, turns over to the next week? Any damage from that end? Because you're right. When you look at this line and just say, oh, my goodness, Tulane is -5, that's a stone cold Tulane line right there.
No, it is. And the sharp bettors are betting Tulane here. Right? It's pretty obvious. Houston's kind of had, they came through the back door last week. It was a neutral site game too. Have they played at home? Have they had a true home game this season? I want to say maybe against Prairie View, but that was it.
Who, Tulane? I think Tulane was. Who would they open up against? Was a decent victory this year?
No, I'm saying Houston. I don't think they've been at home yet this season
in their own stadium.
Yeah, I don't think they've been there yet, unless they played Prairie View at home. But Prairie View and you, me, and 9 listeners can beat Prairie View. It's an interesting game. Game I probably won't be betting on. I worry about this one. Here's a good comment, Donnie. Keep ignoring UNC being a bum pick.
Jeff, a true capper would say, well, wait a second. I had him teased, so I won. Didn't you listen to the show?
It's interesting, Justin, because obviously you seem to be fucking blind. If you go back, I pretty much update every game I give out. And
is that his real picture on there, Jeff? Justin S.?
Yeah, it's what he actually looks like. He's a fucking egg with a little body. Hey, man. I mean, sorry though. I mean, it was wasn't it a 1-possession game for the most of the second?
Did he even
half?
bet it, Jeff? Did he bet it based on what you said? Let's see.
Sorry, Justin, that one lost. I guess I have to win every game. I mean, I went 0-3 last week. I sucked. It is what it is. But hey, Justin, make sure you come into our NFL show this week and tell us how good we were. But you won't, because that's not what you people do. It doesn't fit your agenda. Deeks rolled. Did they roll, Donnie?
I don't know.
Weren't they losing with like 2 minutes left?
I think it was a close game, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are you talking about, Justin? Justin, you must be smoking crack or something tonight. You smoking that good shit.
I'm trying to see here. Let me just
at least be honest when you're trolling. What do you have for Air Force Boise?
Yeah, it was 24-18.
Rolling. Oh yeah, rolling. Killed them. I guess maybe to Justin S. That's a blowout. I don't know. Yeah. Deeks rolled. All right, let's go to Friday. Another game, Donnie, that seems like kind of a trappy game, doesn't it? Utah USC.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think to myself, well, wasn't BYU supposed to be a trap too? Week 1, and Utah rolled. I think Utah's one of those teams, Donnie, where I think we just have to sit down, smell the coffee, and admit that they're a pretty good football team.
Tough. No, I mean, what do you get out of Utah, Jeff? You got a quarterback that's mobile. You have a running back that's badass. You got a defense that's well coached. And I'm still not sold on Slovis for USC at this point right now. And there's a lot of shaky conditions out there where guys are walking on eggshells for USC. But always Utah, one of those bet on teams. And also, you get the right head coach. Which head coach you like in this game, right? Not even a question.
I'll tell you though, Donnie. And here's why I'm not going to bet on. Here's why I'm not going to bet on Utah. I'm going to tell you why. These are their 3 opponents so far, Utah. Brigham Young, Northern Illinois, Idaho State.
Not enough skill position players going against them, right? Now you get them.
Not enough fast players, not enough big-time quarterback play, not enough shots downfield. I think this is the next 2 games for me are going to tell me if Utah's for real.
Yeah.
Okay, you got USC.
I think they are, though.
I do too.
Yeah.
But USC, at any rate, always a very talented team. Fast, they're athletic, and then Washington State as well. So that's what I have to worry about here if I'm Utah. These are prove-it games for me, and that's why I'm not getting involved. Utah's the best Pac-12 team, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think Utah's really good. They're always very physical. Their special teams are terrific. And Donnie said it best. Who do you want as your coach in the Pac-12 over Kyle Whittingham? I don't know many people. I'm not sure as hell not taking fucking Clay Helton over him. Mike Leach, though, is pretty good, Donnie. Mike Leach, pretty good coach.
By the way, with Mike Leach, did you see his presser the other day? Just genius, man. This guy's just a genius.
Donnie, we have, as many people know, I have some things in the works possibly down the road. My dream interview, Donnie, other than John Gotti, but that's not going to happen.
I think I might be able to help you out with that dream interview. I think I might be able to. Yeah.
Mike Leach is my guy.
Yeah. My roommate in college that I roomed with for a year and a half.
Okay.
He's their running back.
Really? Yeah. I don't think you've ever told me that.
Yeah, he is. Yep. It's a long story how he got the job. He's bounced after he graduated college. I'm talking about my roommate. Bounced around a couple smaller colleges. Met Mike Leach at a college football, like a coach's clinic. And on a whim, Mike Leach, this is after he got fired from Texas Tech. He goes down to Key West all the time, loves Key West. The Pirate. That's his place to be. He invited him down, like not even for a job, just like, hey, I'm having a couple coaches down. If you want to come down for like 3 or 4 days, you're more than welcome to stay at my house and hang out. So they got to know each other a little bit. Mike Leach said, hey, if I can help you out in the future, just let me know. So doesn't he go to Washington State? And then my buddy goes to Washington State unannounced. And this is how you get a job. And basically sat in his office, didn't even know if he was there. Mike Leach came in the next day, met with him and said, look, I can't even offer you a paying job right now, but I know you're dedicated, met you before. We can make like a video assistant for the first year. Worked his way up with special teams coach. 4 years later, now he's the running back coach, but just took a flyer. And you talk about getting some job security. You're with Mike Leach and he likes you. Goodness, man.
And you're the running back coach for a guy that throws constantly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He started out as the video coordinator, then got special teams, but he's probably making his way to like offensive coordinator from what
I'll tell you though, Donnie, and this is the God's honest truth about Washington State. I've really liked some of the running backs over the years. They've had some good running backs. Some of these just speedster kind of guys that just
they know they catch the ball out of the backfield.
Oh yeah. And in the new NFL, I think you'll start to see some of those guys in the NFL. Some of those guys. So there he is, Donnie. I'm seeing this guy right here, William Patterson. There you go.
Yeah, Eric Mealy.
How about that, Eric Mealy?
Yeah.
Oh shit. How about that, Donnie?
Yeah, so he was the small guy linebacker, graduated from the good guy too. Never in a million years that I think he was actually going to go in coaching, but you lose track of guys for like a year or two. Like, hey, did you see Eric's so-and-so here, so-and-so there? And just took a flyer, just beat down the door and was like, all right, I'll give you a job. It's not going to pay much. And there you go. Now he's probably getting what, a couple $100,000 a year, living the life. Yeah.
Sounds like a career you should pursue.
I never wanted to be a coach. I would rather be in personnel, actually, in football if I did.
Like a scout or something?
Exactly. I would love that. Yeah.
Makes sense. Watch out for Max Borghi. Max Borghi, a good running back for Washington State.
White kid, too.
Yeah, oh yeah. All right. Keep moving. One other one, 9 o'clock on Friday night, Boise and Air Force. Air Force coming off of that win last week against the Colorado Buffaloes. A spot where if you didn't take Air Force – stop
Laviska Shenault, but Laviska Shenault, Jeff.
No, I actually saw plenty of big-time handicappers taking them. Keep in mind, they just won the week before against Nebraska, and now they got to face this opponent this week, and that was a big-time sandwich spot. Boise's an interesting team because I think, Donnie, they're really talented. I think you're starting to see Buck Meyer. I mean, this kid's a real deal, quarterback, the freshman. I'm not really looking to step in front of Boise State, but up there, they have not been good against the number. You look at across the the last 13 games as a home favorite, 5-8 against the number, and 6-8 overall in home games. They do not cover on that blue turf, and this is a shaky opponent. This is a team that it's hard to prepare for in the middle of the season, Donnie. You look at the last a couple years between these groups. 2 of the 3 games have been decided by 10 points or less. So 7.5, though, seems a bit low. If I'm getting 10.5, I'm interested, but I'm not getting enough points here. And Air Force coming off, it's hard to continue to focus. Keep in mind, though, it is the Air Force, so they should be fine here. A little uneasiness in this game. Probably not a game I'm going to be on.
No, what's interesting about it, too, when you take a look like Air Force, you want to prepare to shut down their running game. How about their stats on defense, Jeff? 90 yards per game. They give up only 2.8 yards on the ground. And then you're looking at it from a Boise perspective, 108 yards. That's still a really good rush defense in college football, only giving up about 3.5 yards per carry. It's an interesting one. It's so hard to bet against the service academies when they get more than a touchdown because you see as well as I do. If they can control the game, they're going for it on 4th and 1, keeping the football. You just don't have the opportunities to stretch that lead.
Going to be raw up in Boise on Friday.
What do we got, Temps? What do we got?
You're looking about mid-50s at game time.
Right,
so it's going to be couldn't be fall and spooky up in Boise. By the way, Donnie, Boise. In fact, I'm not going to say who it is, but one of the chatters in here right now. I used to play for Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
He was with. He played with Nolan. Played for the Eagles. What's his name?
Nolan Carroll.
Yeah, right. Nolan Carroll. Yeah, he played with Nolan Carroll. He's actually in the chat right now. He was I want to say.
Is he a Ralph Friedgen guy?
He was. He was a receiver for Ralph Friedgen.
All right.
He told me, you know what the craziest bowl game was?
What?
Boise. They
going up there and playing there in the micro. What the heck they used to call that thing? It had so many names.
The Potato Bowl, I think it's called. But he told me
Micron PC Bowl. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. He told me that's a crazy town. Not a lot to do there, but the going out is fun. So
that's why they get fans, right? What else are you going to do on a Friday night up there, Saturday night?
Thing about Air Force, though, we know they're disciplined. They're not going to be out guzzling. Good question for you, Don. I'd be interested to hear your opinion real quick on this. The other day on Barstool, on KFC show, they were talking about athletes and like how many of them actually, like football players, how many of them go out and drink the night before the game?
In football?
Yeah.
Drink night before the game?
Now, hear me out. I'm not saying like high level players. Most of those like Tom Brady types are not out. But how many actual players on the roster party? They're all young. I mean,
what? Yeah, but you're talking about the night before the game. Usually like bed checks and stuff.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You think they follow that shit?
They do. The bigger college, yeah, because they're usually
I'm talking about in the NFL.
Oh, in the NFL, who drink? No, there's bed checks in the NFL too. You're checked into a hotel the night before. Even the home teams, Eagles.
Sure, but yeah. I mean, I felt like they still go out though. No.
No, I doubt that. Maybe back in the like LT in the days, like back with the Giants, I'm sure, they just did whatever they wanted to. But I can't imagine that. Can you, especially in the social media era? Can you imagine a picture getting out the organization?
That's true.
Hey, look at this, man. Dude was just hammered down at the club on Broad last night.
Yeah, but the thing is, Donnie, like if Zach Brown was walking around in Philadelphia, do you actually think people know who he is? LJ Ford, right? Backup linebacker.
Yes. No, it's a good point to bring up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they were talking about. He was talking. Kevin from the show is talking about how many a percentage actually go out and drink.
I can't imagine. That doesn't even make. That's just like career suicide though. Like why would you go out?
I'm trying to think who it was. I want to say they interviewed someone and they talked about it. I forget who. I have to listen back to it, but
what will be even the point? Like you can't just wait till after the game. Because they let off steam after the game, and Thursday night's the big party night in the NFL.
I mean, Donnie, I assume a lot of these guys don't do any of the shit that they do, and then it comes out that LaShawn McCoy fights with people at bars and, all this sort of stuff.
Johnny Manziel's in Vegas during a game with a wig on. Yeah, man. Jesus.
It's crazy. By the way, disturbing story out of Pittsburgh involving that pitcher. That is disturbing. That is a story that I can't say I ever thought I'd hear about baseball.
I mean,
right?
you got, dude, the best part about that, I mean, I can't say the best part, but I'm like every walk of life, you never know these people. Like they're superstars. They can do whatever they want, get whatever female they want, hang out with whoever they want. But if you're just a deviant person, it doesn't matter. They're in every walk of life.
You watch like those Chris Hansen things, right?
Yeah. They were huge back in the day. Yes.
And like some of the guys, like they just seem like weirdos. But like then you get the occasional, you get like dudes that are just normal people, and you're like, you can't find a girl your own age.
No, they're sick. That's the problem, though. They're sick. It has nothing to do with you can't get a hot girl yourself. They're just sick in the head, and they just can't help themselves. Nope.
But yeah, that's a disturbing story.
He's gone away for a long time. Good night. See ya.
Yeah. Then he said he claimed she didn't say how old she was, but she looked like a 16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. No, first of all, they got his computers and stuff like that. I'll put it this way: when you do stuff like that, Jeff, there's never only one. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, she was the only. No. They're gonna look at. Yeah. They do the old thing in like the paper. You read and see it says, if anybody has ever been in contact with this person, let us know. And then all of a sudden it goes from 1 case to 5 to 10 to 30. Yeah. Come on.
Well, and like back in the day, like when I was younger, like when I was like in high school and stuff, those chat rooms on the internet were big, like those like AOL.
Oh my God, yes.
But it's like I think about like with cops now, like where do they go to do that shit? Like where would you even do that at?
They have all that software, man. They're probably got those like back from use this thing from the wire, entrapment. Just having websites set up where they just track your IP and eventually just pin you. Because again, if you're a sick person, you're going to do it, and they're going to catch you.
Well, yeah, because that's what they would do. They would have like those perverted justice or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Where they pose as like
hang out in the chat room, and eventually they just fish. They just fish for people, and it builds into a case. Absolutely.
That Chris Hansen though, he was always funny, man.
They had to do away with it, I guess, because people were like killing themselves and on the show.
I still remember real quick, and then we'll move on because this is a weird subject. I remember there was one guy. It's not funny, but there was one guy that basically he went into one of these houses, and the decoy told them to be naked.
Yes, I remember that. Absolutely.
Like when he walked in,
and he was like, no problem.
And he's just standing there, and Chris Hansen walks in and goes, "Can you explain yourself?" and what makes it even more sick is back then on that show, they didn't arrest you. They just let you go.
They let you walk and then took you down outside.
No, they didn't even do that.
Really? I always remember they tackled the dudes.
No, this was like the first year where they didn't even arrest you. They just put you out there.
Oh.
But so what happened was they let this idiot go.
Yeah.
They go back the night of. He's back in the chat room. So they meet up with him again.
Damn.
At McDonald's.
Oh.
And you see this dumbass walking out, and he goes, "John," he goes, "I was just trying to get something to eat."
Jesus.
And he's like, "I see you here. Second time," and those people are messed up, man. They're sick. They're sick people.
Yep. Like if you could like just shut it down or stop, like you would feel like, oh my God, look at all these chat rooms. Somebody in here is probably a cop that's going to get me. And it doesn't even trigger with them because they don't care. They're so messed up. They don't care at all.
And you see how many people, how many of them are like, I knew this was a setup.
Yep. Like, they can't help it. Like, I hope it's not. I think it is. I'm still going anyway.
Yeah, even though it's probably a setup.
Hey, this person won't talk to me. He's just yelling at me. I used to watch this TV show where they did this. Oh, well, I'll go along with it.
Yeah. And some of the guys are sitting there like laughing. They're like, you know, I knew it was like, whoa.
Or they just try to get out of it like, hey, yeah, I'm going to get out of here now. Just have a nice night. Oh, I came over just to make sure she was okay. I was worried.
I remember hearing one guy, he's like, I came here it was an open house. They're selling this place, and I'm here to check it out.
Or when
one of the guys goes, I came here to meet with a guy for a job.
Yes. And then Chris Hansen says, well, I see. It's like, I had no idea a girl lived here. It says right here, I'm coming over. I know you're a girl. And with this, sorry.
I have the chat log here.
Yeah. Oh, then they start crying.
Can you explain the chat log here? But, all right, I'm not sure how we got into this, but all right, let's get to Saturday here. We got to get back to football here. See, this is the rabbit holes we go down on this show occasionally. How did we get on this subject?
I don't know. You said Felipe Vasquez, and we just started joking.
Yeah, that was disturbing. It is. All right. Where do I want to? There was a game that I wanted to ask you about because this seems like a kind of game you would be in. Oh yeah, Coastal Carolina UMass.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Do you remember this game last year?
Yes.
75-point total.
Yes.
And the score ended up being like
scratching your head. Because it's Coastal. I'm telling you, if it doesn't matter, they have an automatic trigger at Coastal Carolina. If you play a side with them, you will lose. If you play a total with them, you will lose. Doesn't matter which side you choose, it's an automatic loss.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't get the team straight. I never could get them straight.
Like, I'm trying to at this point understand why this total is 61.
Like they beat Kansas 12-7. And then Kansas goes on the road and rolls BC by like 4 touchdowns. I don't know.
I'm telling you, 331, 332.
I don't know.
I don't know how this game goes over. I really don't. UMass can't move the ball. Coastal can't either. I don't really get how this total gets to 61.
I guess they're so bad because you look at the games. Versus Rutgers, 48-21. Southern Illinois, the Salukis, 45-20. 52-17. Jeff, Charlotte put up 52 on them, though.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
I mean, but Coastal, I don't know if they can put 40 on a team. I just don't.
Aren't they like similar though to Charlotte in a way? Was it Big Benny LeMay and the boys?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Cameron Dollar guy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's just one I had a thought of. I'll tell you a game I do like, Donnie, this week. I like Boston College this week to beat up Rutgers. Boston College.
A get-back game?
Yeah, you got an extra day to prepare. You were embarrassed last week. You got Rutgers coming in who McLean Carter's doubtful, Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad news for Rutgers.
And a concussion in college is not like the pros where they clear you through that week. That's like it's education. We got to hold him back. He ain't playing.
Donnie, there was a guy at UC Santa Barbara last year, basketball.
Oh Sikowski, Jesus.
Yeah. Max Heidegger. Okay.
Yeah.
This fucking kid got a concussion. He was out like 3 months.
Yes. They do that in high school too now, Jeff. Like back in the day, nobody ever had a concussion for like 40 years in high school football. But now when you get one, you're like done for the year.
Yeah. Listen, BC's going to beat up Rutgers. This number's too low.
Do you remember Sikowski last year, Jeff?
Yeah, he sucked.
Oh my God, he threw so much. I think he might have. Does he have the record for interceptions? I think he might.
Yeah, he had one of those like.
Dude would throw 3 or 4 a week. I could pull my hair out.
He had one of those Nathan Peterman type games.
Oh my God, he was every game was Nathan Peterman for him.
Donnie, listen to their stat line last week against who'd Rutgers play last week? It was really ugly. Oh, they played Iowa 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
At Iowa. McLean Carter was 6 for 16. Sitkowski 4 for 11. They both had an interception.
Look at that, 84 yards on the ground. They had 41 yards in the air, down 30-0. Think about that.
I mean, BC just got embarrassed, man. Like, they're going to fucking destroy Rutgers. Oh, favorite show? I can't wait for Right Side of Campus to be back.
Me too.
You know what? You might be waiting a while, but eventually it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We got some college to go to. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you never know. It might appear. There might be a college class. You never know.
Yeah.
You might see me yelling at analytics guys. You might see a lot of things in the next, couple months. Who
I'm
knows?
going to be on a couch here soon.
Oh, no,
We got a lot going on, baby.
don't do it.
We got a lot. Donnie might be yelling at Rufus Peabody, Got all sorts of excitement. Maybe a camera following Donnie around day to day.
No.
Who knows?
You know how exciting that would be? Like, damn, camera crew's here at 8 a.m. What are you doing, though? What you're going to do today? Well, I'm going to sit here and look at this computer screen for about 2 hours. You guys can follow me to the gym. Then we'll come back, and I'll look at this computer screen for 2 more hours, and I'll do a couple videos.
And I'll get Taco Bell in between.
And I'll get Taco Bell, maybe walk the dog a few times. Like, this sucks. We're out of here, man.
They're going to call it Donnie Shore instead of Jersey Shore. Donnie Shore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a reality show about gambling. The funny thing is, people don't understand. It's funny because when they talk about gambling on these TV shows, everybody's driving a fucking Rolls Royce and like, I'm Vegas Dave. It's like, yo, dog, I drive a Hyundai Sonata.
Yep.
There ain't no fucking nice cars around here.
Yep. I remember watching one a couple years ago. Like these dudes are like all out of shape, smokers, pounding Pepto-Bismol, and like just sit behind a computer screen. It's like that's actually the real life of a gambler. Not like, hey, we're gonna go out and meet at the sports book. Like I tell them, I was talking to a couple people today. I said, you know what? You don't like it. I have the sports book in my house. We have every app. What is the point of me driving to Atlantic City and hanging out in a sports book and watch the game?
I think for Atlantic City, and I learned that last year, it's cool for like events. You have March Madness or whatever. But I mean, the only sports book I'm going to be at is if I'm there because I have to be there.
I can't even like on a Sunday. Like I need to be at home watching like 5 games myself. And I don't want like the dudes cheering for one thing. And I don't know how you guys like, I guess, look, and that's coming from, being in the business. So I guess if we weren't in the business, like, hey, you and a couple of your buddies go to the sports book and drink and bet on games. And then you go to your job on Monday, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think it's more like an event thing.
Yeah,
most of these people are just doing it for fun or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the love in that either. But yeah, I like BC. That's one play that I'm really looking into. Michigan, Wisconsin. I did a preview for this on my channel. You can check that out. Look, I like Michigan. I bet Michigan. I bet them already. I already grabbed it. 3.5. I think they win the game. I think they had. The bye week came at the right time. And, Donnie, you look back at that box score when they played Army.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn good defensively. They just turned the football over too much. And according to Harbaugh, they worked on ball security during the bye week. According to Michigan, it was the most.
Wisconsin hasn't given up a point yet either, Jeff.
Tell us who they played, Donnie.
I know. South Florida and Central Michigan. 2 whack bum teams, but they did slaughter them both.
This is what they do every year, though. Then they face a real team, and they struggle. So I'm not buying it.
It's a good game, though. I love it's at noon. Yeah. I love this game is at noon. That's awesome.
I think it's first to 20 win. And I'll tell you what. You know what I also like, Donnie, about this? Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, the running back for Wisconsin. The Michigan fans or Michigan players are talking about Army. For some of them, was the most physical game they've ever played against that option. I think that's a nice spot for Michigan. I think they handle Taylor, make Cohen throw the football. I don't like that for Wisconsin.
It is funny when you look at it too, because they did play 2 bum teams, but their line of just looking at like what they do. How many rushing yards you give up a game? 20. What's the average per rush? 0.9. It's crazy looking.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's definitely tough, but I think Wisconsin is going to get beaten up in the trenches. I don't think Michigan's not just going to fall over. I think Michigan opens up the playbook a little bit too. I'll tell you right now, if you lose this game, if you're Michigan, fire Harbaugh on Monday.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's a Michigan man. You can't do that though.
Put some in his milk then. Make America great again. Nice to see Big Man and Donnie. That's the only time I will ever utter that phrase.
MAGA, Jeff. Don't worry. At the place where there's places out there that are going to put that hat on you, and you're going to have to like it. So,
not going to happen. But hey, we all agree politics not on this channel. But that will be the only time I ever say those 4 words.
You lose either way. That's the best part about politics. As soon as you start talking about it, you lose. It doesn't even matter if you think you're right. You lose anyway.
Here's the only politics I care about, okay? Loyalty. Don't be a fucking snitch.
But Jeff, how about if it's going to get you out of 40 years though? You gotta snitch.
Listen, let me tell you something about that guy, Tekashi. Tekashi shouldn't have played in dirt because he's getting dirty.
No, like that's my whole like. Look, I'm not going to be flipping, to the, snitching on people because I don't
sell drugs, Donnie.
No, that's the point I was going to make. Saying I'm not in that life where like the code is the code. And if you're in there, like you can't, like, isn't that what it is? You just go, hey, you lived a life of luxury. You ran around. You had a lot of power on the streets. But when you get caught, oh, well.
What happens. You either go into a box and you sit there and you do your time and you come out like a man. You know the rules.
Yes, that's what
it's just like I don't want to go to jail, so I don't sell drugs and rob people.
Yes.
I get that there's hard ways to grow up and there's hard ways to make a living. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I fully agree with that. I understand it. But it's illegal.
Wait, is he trying to get into witness protection?
Oh, yeah.
No, he is?
You ought to.
Oh, my goodness.
The problem is nowadays, people don't even care about it. They don't care he's a rat. Look at these fucking these shows on TV. They prop that Sammy Gravano up like you said.
Yeah, like he's the best mob guy of all time, stand-up guy.
Come on, dude. He's a complete snake. How's Tekashi going to go into witness protection with his rainbow hair and tattoos? I mean, you can remove them.
Dude, it's got to be harder now, though, right? Like,
let me tell you something.
Witness protection in the 80s. No cell phones, no pictures. You can easily change your name. Nothing's on a database.
Witness protection now for a guy like this, I think it's easier.
Really?
Because, let me tell you why. Because here's one thing about Tekashi that people have to remember. How do you know the cops aren't protecting him and watching him? You go with him, there's probably cops watching him. I wouldn't go anywhere near him. And he's no one's going to go near him.
Yeah, but as a federal agent or something like that, wouldn't you be hoping like, hey, I hope they actually get this guy. They don't have to watch him, pay for him, and he's on the payroll anymore. See ya. Wouldn't even care after that. We'll move you out to Arizona. They're not going to find you in this day and age.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I'm sure you. But dude,
who's the last? I got because you follow this stuff. Who's the last person that went to like witness protection as a big person just disappeared? Who?
Well, most of them actually go to witness protection then leave.
Yeah, but like I'm talking like I know like what's his name? Henry Hill. I understand those guys, but that's way a long time ago. Like, has there ever been a big high profile trial in Philadelphia or New York where they actually went into witness protection?
Here's a prime example. Joe Messino. He was the first boss of a family to ever flip. He was a boss. He flipped. Yeah. He's in witness protection. He actually got out.
When was this though?
90s, late 90s.
Yes, I'm talking like now though, with all the technology and stuff. I don't think you can hide these people.
I mean, the thing is, you can because
you think he's going to go silent? This guy who's used to being in the media.
The thing about these mob guys though, you put them in Kansas, nobody knows who they are. Unless you're John Gotti. I mean, people know who he is probably, but I think a lot of people just think it's because most of the world, Donnie, doesn't live like that, like being a snitch in most areas, most people would do that. Most people aren't criminals that don't abide by those laws.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think for Tekashi 6ix9ine, he'll just get the tattoos removed. I mean, I'm sure they'll put some money in it. He's making money off this. If you're a rat, you make money. He's ratting on these people.
But isn't he going to want to still like rap it in like 5 years? Like, I got to go with a solo album.
Oh, and it'll be accepted. Nowadays, it's cool to be a rat.
Yeah.
People don't care about that. The values that we had once, they're not around anymore. Epstein thought he was untouchable. Listen, I'll continue to maintain I don't think Jeffrey Epstein was killed. I think he killed himself. I mean that. If you actually know, and I mean this, if you know what the conditions are inside that facility, it's a surprise more people don't kill themselves. My dad and I talked about that day. My dad was telling me that in that facility, it is so bad that Epstein would literally, he would see his lawyer like 10 minutes a week. He would just make shit up to go see the lawyer because it was so awful in his cell. Rats crawling all over it. It was bad from what I understand.
Really? Jeez.
That's what I heard. I heard it. That facility is terrible from what I understand.
Where was he at?
Brooklyn, Metropolitan Detention Center. But I don't think he was killed. I mean that. If you know that facility, you'll understand. All right, let's get back into we've keep going down these interesting rabbit trails, and I have to admit they are fun. We'll go for about 10 more minutes here. Yep. There's a lot of games I like under
but how about this one, Jeff? Yeah. You talk about a delusional fan base, 355, 356.
Oh yeah, Tennessee. Which interestingly enough, I actually saw them celebrating because they beat Chattanooga last week. The Moccasins.
Yes. I told you that if you follow my Twitter, Jeff, they're back. I told you Tennessee's finally back.
What a joke of a team. But I'll tell you, I don't know how good Florida is. Now
lose the quarterback. Yeah, sure.
Kyle Trask, yeah. I'm going to say it. I think Tennessee hangs. I think they cover. I don't think they win, but I think they cover. Cal, Mississippi, 41.5 down. You ever think you'd see a Mississippi total of 41.5?
That's unbelievable. Even Cal, even back in the day with Tedford and stuff. Yeah, no way.
Cal now, though, is a shut-down defense. They are really good on defense. Really good on defense. That's another one, first to 20 win. Washington, Brigham Young, that's another one. BYU, Donnie, they're tough. It's a tough
kids, man. Look, they got like 26-year-olds out there, man. They ain't messing around.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that outside of David Shaw, the coach with no balls in the country, Chris Peterson. What a loser. I'm going to put this out there. I think Southern Miss gets a cover. They're better than people think, Donnie. Jack Abraham, number 1 in the country last year in completion percentage. We know Saban, they don't cover these big numbers.
Yeah.
Southern Miss has a guy, Donnie. He was on the internet last week. People were tweeting it out. Jalen Adams. He's one of the fastest players in the country. I bet he runs a 4.3. He's that fast. Watch out for Alabama. I don't think they cover this week.
It's interesting look, too, because you start SEC play next week. So you're not really, hey, let's lay it all on the line for Southern Miss. You're probably getting ready for Ole Miss the next week.
And if you're Southern Miss, it's an exciting game if you're them. This looks like a 48-10, 41-10, something kind of that. Western Michigan ODU, says Dexter. ODU plays Virginia, not Western Michigan. Tennessee hasn't been good since Peyton was quarterback. Don't get me started. What else do we have here? A couple more. Kentucky, Mississippi State. Ian Cameron made a good case for Kentucky. I agree with him. I think Mississippi State's one of the most overrated teams in the country. What else do we have here? There's another game. Oh, Oklahoma State, Texas.
Yeah.
73 is your total in this game. Overs, I feel like in college football, are getting wrecked as well.
Yeah.
I just don't know how this one stays under. I don't get it. I mean, Texas can't stop anybody. And Oklahoma State, they are real on offense. Neither team, I think it's last team has the ball is probably going to win this game. I think the 6 is too many here as well, Donnie. I mean, you look at Okie State, last 5 is an underdog, 5-0 against the spread. They've won 4 of those games. This is a good team as a dog. Tom Herman as a favorite, last 19, 9-10 against the spread. They don't cover as a favorite. I like Okie State here. I think they get to 6 and cover. A lot of teams this week that are underdogs that I like. Could be a dog-eat-dog world out there again, Donnie.
Yes, absolutely. No, I like that. I think it's pretty good looking now. What's somebody saying in the chat box? Ohio and Louisiana Lafayette?
Yeah. UA Lafayette's a good team.
Dude, Ragus and Calais are unbelievable running backs. Unbelievable running backs. Yeah.
No, I like UA Lafayette. Levi Lewis, the quarterback.
Yeah, athletic guy. Yeah.
Pretty good quarterback as well. I'm not a big MAC guy. I don't like this conference. I think Ohio's the best team, but Poppy White's gone, Donnie. Wallet's gone. A lot of good players gone from that team from last year. I haven't seen much of them this year. I have to look into them.
No, they're still a decent football team. The one thing that you could look at Ohio, they're not really in that MAC mold. And if you don't understand what the MAC is, let's just spread it out on offense and stop nobody on defense. Like, at least you get Frank Solich over the years. You have probably the best quarterback in the conference in O'Rourke. He's always going to control the running game, and he can throw. When he's on, they're really good. But if they're one of the teams that can step out of conference and go against another lower level conference, they usually do pretty well. They did well against Marshall, and they do what you look at Pittsburgh 20-10. They have talent on this football team. It's a really good game to watch. 67.5 though. Good grief.
Seems a bit high, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Donnie, here's a game that I know you remember from last year.
Yeah.
And I was on this game. It was a fucking shit show. SMU TCU.
Opening weekend. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Out of nowhere, it rains, and nobody can catch the football.
Yep. And the quarterback for TCU, Sean Robinson, was just so fucking hard to watch.
So was Hicks on the other side. It was like it told a story of what's going to happen in a lot of these football games, like the out of nowhere storm. And it's just, I don't know. I know exactly the game, Jeff, where we're laughing through the first quarter. Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 big plays early on in the game, both get called back. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. And TCU ended up putting 42 on the board.
Yeah.
And this game still didn't go over. By the way, if you have games you want me to take a look at in the last 5-10 minutes here, get them in now. I'll rapid fire before we stop. Hey, Donnie, the good news here, though, is I think TCU is one of the best defense in the country. What they did last week against Purdue was impressive, and I missed out on that total by 6 points as usual. Listen, I have TCU over 7.5 wins, and it's going to be one of the easiest bets of the season. They already have 2. They're going to win 6 by middle of October. This is a good football team. I think SMU comes into a buzzsaw here. But it's interesting, Donnie. You know who the quarterback at TCU is?
Who is it?
Shane Buechele, who used to be.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, sure. Texas. Yeah.
He used to be at Texas. Now he's at SMU.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is, a quarterback that can wing it around a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how he does against this TCU defense, which is really good. Last time he played TCU, Donnie, back on November 25th of 2016, he was 16 for 39.
Yeah.
1 interception and 218 yards. Ugly day for him there. I think it's an ugly day for him here. The sucky thing is, Donnie, he doesn't have anyone to throw to really at SMU. Cortland Sutton ain't walking through the door anytime soon. TCU keeps it up and get going here.
By the way, what about this one, Jeff? A total of 3. I know Syracuse got beat up last week pretty good. 339-340. Western Michigan and Syracuse sitting at 65.5. Like, Syracuse should be able to put points up on that MAC defense, but Western Michigan, really good offense, good quarterback, good running game. They should be able to get into the high 20s.
Yeah, Syracuse, this could be the game where they really open it up from a playmaking perspective. Western Michigan is let's just say not good defensively. And Syracuse, I mean, they haven't been much better. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, this WMU team can put points on the board, Donnie.
Yep.
I mean, put up 48 on Monmouth. Miles Austin isn't on that team anymore. And then put up 57 last week on Georgia State, which, by the way, Donnie, if anyone doesn't know, Georgia State, who lost by 47 to the Broncos of Western Michigan, they actually beat Tennessee. Just wanted to let everyone know. Keep on, they give up 57 to Western Michigan, and you lost outright to them, Tennessee. So,
what about the game you were chomping on earlier, Jeff? Louisville, Florida State.
Yeah, I like Louisville here. I think Florida State's going in the wrong direction. Ian Cameron brought that up to me. I think he's totally right. For all that Louisville's dealt with over the last year, they have a good head coach now. They're a team that defensively is much better. They shouldn't have any trouble moving the ball against this Florida State defense. Yeah, I like this one. I'll tell you another game, Donnie, that's kind of interesting. Temple, Buffalo.
Yeah, there you go.
Seems like kind of a low spot for Temple on the road up at Buffalo.
Buffalo beat Temple a couple years ago at the Link, I believe, right?
Yeah, with Tyree Jackson, I believe.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, Buffalo's not good, but this seems like a low spot. Maybe a first half place worth here. Maybe this one little green going into halftime.
Get the big win against Maryland. Little sleepy environment. Yeah.
What's his first half going to be? 8 or 9, probably.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yep.
You know, it looks like a sleepy spot for Temple here. Just my thoughts. Let's go through a couple listener games here. Someone's asking also about. Someone asked me earlier about Michigan State Northwestern 333, 334, 12 o'clock Eastern. Donnie, you got a total in this game, 38.5.
Good grief!
Through 3 games, guys, Michigan State, they've allowed 70 total rushing yards.
Yeah,
70. But Donnie, here's my concern about this total. Let me go through the last 3 matchups between these two teams. Last year, a total of 44. It was 29-19.
Mm-hmm.
The year before, total of 42.5, 39-31.
Oh.
And 2016, Donnie, get this one. A total of 42. Final score, 54-40.
Jesus.
So these games are going over, these low totals. But
yeah,
I don't know if anyone's seen Northwestern.
Look at their scores, man. Exactly.
Christ,
both teams.
Man. I mean, you look at the first week, 17-7 Stanford. They lose that game. Then they beat UNLV, a team that they should put up 50 against.
Yep.
30-14. And then Michigan State, 10-7, 28-7, 51-17. And that was Western Michigan, who anybody can score against.
Exactly. Syracuse, come on.
I'm not going to say you take the under here, but I might want to take the under. Let's go through a couple games here quickly. Rapid fire. That's what we do here. Cal Miss, talked about that one already. Does Northwestern cover? I don't want to back that quarterback. Hunter Johnson looks like a mess. TCU will cover. I agree. Utah State, San Diego State. I like SDSU in that game. In fact, I think SDSU wins the Mountain West this year. I think they're that good. Jordan Love's going to struggle. Donnie, that San Diego State 3-3-5 is a good defense. Rocky Long has the boys set up. Georgia State, Texas State under. Let me tell you something about Texas State. Fuck the Bobcats. Fuck San Marcos. Fuck Texas State. I hate that team. I won't bet on them again this year. Coastal Carolina against UMass. Already talked about that game. Donnie, would you lay 17 with Coastal?
No, no, not in a million. I don't even care. I don't even care. No, because when you look at their offense, it's just not built for explosive plays. Now, are they going to get them because UMass stinks? Probably. They don't throw the ball very well. They run it right up the middle. They run a pace where they're snapping the ball with 2 seconds left on the play clock. I can't stand it.
Agreed. Jansen says ban vaping. Well,
Jeff,
what do you want
vape?
them to do? Go smoke cigarettes?
Do you vape, Jeff?
No, I don't put anything in my mouth as far as smoking. No, or very many other things either outside of food. UAB -10 against South Alabama. Yeah, UAB doesn't really move the needle for me after that performance week 1. We'll see if they've gotten to figure it out.
They were pretty good versus Akron, though. They were. Akron scored a couple points there late, but that was more of the UAB than I'm used to.
And what's one thing we know about Akron?
Stink at quarterback.
They're horrible. What's with Maryland? Were they an enigma? Yeah, I think that's exactly what Maryland was. Will Northwestern score more than 3 versus Sparty? Yes, dag. They're going to score more than 3. Can Michigan State score more than 13? Yeah, I think that's like a first to 20 wins. I think it'll be a close game. Nebraska's a double-digit road favorite. They've been on the road since last year against Illinois. Lovie Smith, Brandon Peters. Donnie, that's an interesting over. Nebraska, Illinois. I mean, it's Nebraska.
I like it.
Do they ever give you a reason to think they can stop anybody?
No, and they're going to go fast. Yep, Illinois ain't stopping Jack, and it looks like from that injury list, they're banged up again on defense.
Keep in mind, I'm starting to fall out of love with overs, but I think that's a decent one to get on. Also, Donnie, Joe Duffy made a good case for Oregon this week against Stanford. I can't agree more. I think Stanford stinks, and I think Oregon's legit. Brian Rowe, what's up, man? Arizona State, Colorado, 2 teams that I'm not really interested in. I don't like Steven Montez as a quarterback, and Arizona State's off of a big win, so I'm avoiding them. Double digit. I don't even too many. Big Big double-digit favorite to bet on, OSU. Who do they play this week? Another Connecticut School of the Blind?
They play this week? Who they got?
I'm sure nobody. Miami of Ohio.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, what a shit schedule they have. The team fucking plays nobody.
It's the same thing every year with some of these big schools. Like, they play like 7 straight home games to start the season. They play like 2 road games.
I'll tell you what, Miami of Ohio stinks too. They lost by the 38-14 to Iowa, 35-13 to Cincinnati. They beat Tennessee Tech. Great.
Actually, it was who's the coach? It's Chuck Martin. Yeah, he actually had a really good comment though this week. If you saw it, Jeff, he's like, going in to play Ohio State is like going to recess, and the other team gets the first 85 picks. That was a great comment. I thought it was hilarious.
No, it's true. By the way, Donnie, this kid, the quarterback for Miami of Ohio, he's a freshman. Brett Gabbert. Is that Blaine Gabbert?
I bet you it is. Yep, I bet you it is.
He kind of looks like him too.
Is Mayock's kid still play for that team? Isn't Mayock a wide receiver on that team? Oh, for Miami. Let me check. I don't see.
I'm not sure. Oh, it is the brother, Donnie.
There you go.
Brett Gabbert.
Let me see.
Kid looks like he's 14. Mike Mayock's son?
I think it is. Look that up.
Mike Mayock's son. I don't know.
It says Villanova.
Oh, yeah, Miami University Redhawks.
Yes, I thought so.
Luke Mayock.
There you go. Yeah.
He's there he is.
He was a wide out there. I didn't even know if he was still there or not.
Yeah, he's from Sugar Land, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Red shirt senior.
Yep.
He, yeah. Good dad to have. Not going to play football, but I'm sure he'll be in the front office somewhere.
Yep, move him right in.
All right, guys, that's it. Plenty of good content here tonight. Went over a lot of games, many as we can, and we talked about some, interesting things along the way. So, Donnie, anything that you have your eye on this week in college football that you want to let us know about?
No, I'm strictly watching, sitting back. Nothing really piques my mind. I actually love the fact though that Michigan's on at noon. I'll be able to watch that, and then the night game with the Georgia. I like pageantry in college football a lot, and that's going to be a pretty good one tonight.
Yeah, one other game before we go. I think it's pretty clear that the Rice Owls aren't any good. Baylor is good.
Yeah, but their coach sucks, Jeff.
Yeah. I think first half might be worth a look here. I think they beat up Rice. But again, looking ahead a little bit, maybe to Iowa State, I don't know. But they put up 56 and 63 in their first 2 games. That offense can move. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks for watching. For anyone that checks out the show after, thank you for checking it out. Donnie, we will see you on
Sunday.
Looking forward to that. Sunday, we'll be going over the NFL card. You need to join us Sunday at 12 on SBR. We go over every game in the NFL, and we normally have success doing it. So make sure you join us there. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe, comment below what you like. Make sure you check out all the videos I have here. Donnie, good stuff. Thanks for coming on, and we will see you all on the weekend. Have a great week. Bye-bye.